Cody, welcome to the Tax Sisters podcast.
Good to be here.
This is our good friend Cody. Cody and I go way back. Oh God, way back, right? Like 20 years? Like when I first started out, long even before that, well, just shortly after.
Yeah.
I think I was a couple years in business. So I got to watch Cody be an entrepreneur from over the last 20 years and grow several different businesses, work through some partnership issues, which like we've discussed in prior podcasts and how that can be fun. So I know Cody's experienced some of that. And now actually selling a business so that he can focus some more attention on another one of his businesses. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Cody. Just give everybody a little bit of a high level on what you do and what you've been doing. And
yeah, so I think I grew up in the pest control industry, and so that's kind of where I started, was in pest control. And I took over a business that my dad had started and dealt with the partnership of having family and partnerships and things like that. And I remember many occasions having that conversation with you as far as that. And
gosh, I think I blocked that out. I'd been there myself, so I feel that pain.
Yes.
So I think I blocked that part out. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got through that, and from that just continued to grow that business. And I think it got to a point where I had it kind of on autopilot, so I started a promotional business doing shirts and hats and all that kind of stuff with a friend. And
kind of like you're wearing right now.
There you go.
There you go.
So doing that, and that kind of went its course, and we kind of went through COVID and suffered there a little bit, but
Yeah,
I think we've finally regrouped and kind of come back, and it's doing well. And at the same time, I kind of tripped upon a software company where there's 3 other partners, and that's going really well right now. And so I was torn between kind of my time and how much I could give to everything. And so I think it got to a point where...
So tell us a little bit about the software company, which is actually a C corporation, not a partnership. So but you do have other shareholders,
Yes.
founding shareholders in that. Tell us a little bit about that endeavor and how different that's been.
Yeah, so it's definitely different on the tech side of things, and it takes kind of a different mindset, and I'm still probably processing that, and you continue to beat that into me. So
beat is a very strong word, but yeah, cram it down your throat.
Right.
Like it, yeah.
So it's one of those things where, it definitely takes a different mentality of thinking wise on the tax side, but it's been great. I've got 3 other partners in that, or shareholders, that we are growing this business, and it's kind
growing really rapidly.
Yeah, it's quick, fast growing. In the last year and a half, we've put on about almost 150 clients, and we're
now this isn't a far deviation from what you are doing, because this software company is doing. Tell us a little about what you're doing.
Yeah, so the software, it's called Smarter Launch. It's a smarter way to kind of launch your business with proposals. So it's a proposal software for the pest control industry. Kind of having that experience, and 3 of the 4 shareholders are from the industry, and so really we felt like it was one of those things where something was missing, and we found kind of a tool that we could kind of implement to fix that problem. And the problem was that in the pest control industry, or in most home service businesses, because this will eventually go into all the home services, but just that proposal piece to give a customer all the information they need with photos and videos and a graphing tool to graph out and explain and give them all the information they need so they can make the right decision. And so that's...
Is that how far the software takes it? Is it mostly just the onset?
Yeah,
I've seen, I recently had a roof repair done, and when they came, and I could see that it takes them a while to get it to you, but then they put in all the little pictures, and here's what you need to do, and here's how you fix it, and it, once it's done, it looks really nice. But I imagine that's a really pain in the butt, process to get to something that's so individualized like that.
Yeah, so most guys are taking 45 minutes to 2 hours to put something like that together, because they're using 3 or 4 different softwares to upload pictures and then, scan this and put this in. And so it's a process. And so the time and energy spent on something like that, whereas with our proposal piece, you can go out, do an inspection, and while there, in 5 or 6 minutes, throw it together. And
So it's
all
like
built into our
template driven,
system.
and does it like email everything out to the clients?
So it
And
emails everything out to the client. The client can get it right there. They can sign it right there with their finger. You can even sign it while you're there and do the presentation with it right there, and they can sign your iPad or tablet. So it just makes it very simple and easy to where anyone can use it. It's not, you don't have to be, a tech.
so you tailored that right now to the pest control industry because that's where you guys have most of your experience. But
Currently, yes.
I could totally see where that would be applicable in air
Roofers,
conditioning,
HVAC,
roofers. They do a lot
plumbers,
of pictures,
all
plumbers,
that kind of stuff. Yep.
even electrical type
Yeah.
of things. That's interesting.
Fencing companies, custodial.
Remodeling companies.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds like you'd have a pretty broad application for that. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So I had a painter call me one day and said, hey, can I do a demo of your software? And I was like, how did you hear about us? And he said, well, my pest control guy came over the other day, and he said he was here like 5 minutes, looked at everything, and he said before he got in his truck, I noticed I got an email from him. And he said, I looked at the email, and it was already the full proposal with everything on it. And he's like, I was so blown away with the proposal, I called the office of the pest control company and said, hey, where did you get this? Like, how'd you do this so fast? I want to use this for my painting company.
Freaking yes, that's awesome.
So right there, that was like
So you
that
sign 'em up?
testimonial. Exactly. So that testimonial. That's
So you
like,
have non.
yeah, so we do have
on?
non-companies that aren't pest control, but we've really tried to decide, hey, just strategy-wise, let's really dive deep into pest control. Let's go as far as we can with that, and then from there we'll expand into other
Nice, but
industries.
I can see how that's going to be
Yeah.
a real exciting thing. And just recently, I think in the last, what's today, the 12th, the 11th? I don't even know what the date is,
Yeah,
but it's
12th.
November. It's getting close to Thanksgiving. But you just closed on selling your pest control company.
Yep.
And how do you feel about that now that that's done?
I think there's probably mixed emotions.
It's
It's
your
something
baby
I
for
had.
20
Yeah,
years.
I had it for 20 years. It was something my dad originally had started and had kind of a one-man show, and then for me to kind of take it and then expand upon it. Some mixed emotions there. But like I said earlier, I think it got to a point where I really needed to decide where do I want to commit my time to. And this software is going so well, I really felt like I needed to put all my efforts into that. And so, so I just exited 1st of November, and it was an interesting process. It's a little grueling, and thanks to your help and attorneys and everything else, I feel like it went well. Obviously, there's probably some things that I could have done better or I'll learn from. But at the same time, I think it's...
So check, sold your first business.
Yeah, sold
That's
my
pretty
first business, so it's
pretty
exciting.
Yeah, it's
Totally.
definitely a belt a lot of people don't get to wear,
Right.
and an experience that you're right, you can draw and learn from. Nobody does anything perfectly, especially the first time, and if you don't fall down, you can't get up. So that's good. So you recognize, you learn the things that you can from that, and then move on and extrapolate those into your new endeavors and only grow them stronger. So,
Totally.
I mean, how do you feel that your journey over the last 20 years with dynamic pest control has contributed to how well you understand or how cautiously you got involved with now Smarter Launch?
Yeah, I mean, I think just overall experience, there's nothing that you can... I mean, there's nothing better than experience, right? Like, experience is the best learner. And so the ability to run a company for 20 years and be involved in everything and working with, accountants and attorneys and everything else to help through that whole process, that experience, I'll always have, and it'll always push me into whatever I'm doing next. And so now, having this software company, a totally different beast as far as, business. Definitely not something I ever thought I would be involved in, but it's been a lot of fun. It's totally a different experience, but I'm able to take a lot of those experiences that I had in my pest control business and put them into the software business and kind of where we're going and what we're doing there.
And how do you feel that some of that even helped, like with the meshing of like the partners and stuff? Did they look to you for that kind of help and advice, and she'd been there, done that? Did you gain that kind of respect early on with those new endeavors?
I think that's probably more of my personality. They're all
You're so
owners
charming,
in their,
Cody.
no, they're all owners in their own right, and they're smart people, and I think I'd like to say I was smart enough to put smart people around me, and so they're really good partners. They can hold their own.
That's
but
great.
I think my personality is one that kind of maybe rises to the occasion, and so I think pretty quickly it was like, hey, you're kind of the face of this company. You're someone that will be the CEO as we move forward, and so that was kind of my role from the get-go. As far as I think started out as director of operations and kind of doing that, and so that's kind of been that role, but it's been something that I've been able to kind of draw back on my pest control experience.
That's
and running
awesome.
that business, that it's put me in the right place.
Yeah, but that's gotta feel good, because like all the blood, sweat, tears, and challenges you've had over the last 20 years, and now it's like now those are the things that are like allowing you to stand up taller,
Totally.
lift you up, and
Yeah.
especially they're probably looking at you the same way. Like, we found this smart guy, because hey, like, there's lots of business owners out there, but not everybody really has taken the time to really adapt to learning the ropes of more than just how to run their niche of a business.
Yeah.
And I know, like, over the years, you and I have always had some interesting conversations about running a business. But one thing I think I like about you the most is you're very open. You're very coachable. Like, you're not you don't put yourself as like, I'm always the smartest person in the room.
Right.
But depending on what you're talking about, because if it's scorpions, he's the guy, okay? Because I can't. But we'll talk about scorpions another time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that, I know, like, over our course of knowing each other and working together, I always liked that about you, because I felt like you did listen, you did take into consideration a lot of different aspects, and were very open with, well, I just don't understand that. And I think even before this, we were having a little conversation about some of that. So I think that's unique, because I deal with a lot of business owners. So trust me, that's a unique thing. And I think that when you are able to embrace that, when you want to do these new startups and stuff like that, that's like one of the most valuable things, I think.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know if that was something that I learned from my dad, but to me, if I'm going to pay an expert, like an accountant, and I'm going to pay you, monthly to do my books and do those things, then I would expect that you're going to know that stuff, right? And so for me to feel like I know it better than you would be, absurd. And so that's where, to me, it's, you put other companies, you put other people around you that are experts.
Surround yourself with smarter people. Yeah, I'm a very big proponent of that. As that go, like Think and Grow Rich. Do you read that book?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's like one of the biggest things in that book. I always talk about that. It's a very old book, but it seems to always, it's generational-less.
Right.
Right. It just is outliving all of us, and I'll go back to it every sometimes, but that's one of the biggest things on it's in one of the early chapters, where he talks about like surrounding yourself with people smarter than you. If you see somebody where you want to be, those are the people you want to be close to. Not in competition with, but you want to learn. You got to soak it all up and learn and be able to figure out what the missing pieces are, and so I think that's always kind of cool, always stuck in the back of my head as starting my business and growing the things that I've done. So I think that's really neat.
Well, what do they say? You're the summation of the 5 people you hang around most.
Yeah.
And so I've always tried to put myself around other business owners that are doing really well, that are successful in what I feel is success in my life, because I think success for everyone is different. But from the values that I have and what success is, that's what I tried to do. And so I've had masterminds where I put businesses together where we meet on a monthly basis and have lunch and talk about business and learn from each other's experiences.
Those are fun.
They're awesome.
Those can be a lot of fun. But we used to do some of them together. We haven't in a while.
It's been a while, but we did.
We did. Yeah, we used to have some, everything, all that stuff's like becoming very electronic. Like it's all in
digital.
virtual groups and digital now, and that's
sure.
gone are the days of I think. Well, we hold on to them, but gone are the days of real people interaction. So I kind of miss that a little bit. So
For sure.
and I like to eat, so lunch is always good, and it's getting to be about that time. So that's how it goes.
There you go.
But anything else you would like to add, or you feel like would be valuable lesson for our listeners?
I mean, always you can't talk to your accountant enough, right?
Thank you.
So I think there's
people that all
probably
the time.
Times where I probably haven't reached out enough or whatnot, but you can't have good experts, enough good experts in your corner. And so I think the more you interact with your accountants, your attorneys, those kinds of things, the better off you're going to be as a business, and the better prepared you're going to be. And that's probably the one thing I learned over the years is the tax planning, those kinds of things. I know you guys send out emails all the time and bug us, and we get busy, and we're so busy that it's hard to get there. But really, the better off, the more time you can take to plan ahead, the better you're going to be prepared for everything in the future.
I preached that for decades. Because
sure.
we did a podcast on tax planning. I don't know, a few weeks ago. I don't remember how long ago it was.
Yeah.
But it's out there, and it was interesting because you hear in our world, we hear that all the time. Oh, I do tax planning, or I need to meet with someone who's good with tax planning, and the words or the phrase is just thrown around like water.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it means, well, at least it doesn't mean the same to me as it means to a lot of other people. And we really try to really focus on proactive. Like, I loathe the February, but what else can I do? Not much.
Right.
Not much left over for last year or 2 years ago or anything like that. So, really good stuff. Well, I'm excited for you and your new endeavors, and that everything's going really well.
Thank you. Appreciate
Hopefully
it.
to
Excited.
stick with us and watch you grow.
Yeah.
And become an international success.
There you go.
There you go.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Cody, for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.